Hey guys, so I've been sitting here in my room in Douglasville, Georgia, trying to decide how in the world am I going to start this video? What am I going to say? How's it going to look? How do I explain what I'm wanting to do? And so rather than try to rehearse it like I have for the last 15 minutes, I decided to just go for it and see what happens, just try to be as real as I can. I was kind of inspired over the last couple of weeks to do little short videos on Facebook. Life passes by so quickly, and we can always be looking forward to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and sometimes we forget to capture the moments of where we are right now. And I think as an evangelist, I can appreciate the time when I'm with my family, and I can really embrace the moments that I have with them and value them for what they are at that time. And in our own personal lives, so many times life just passes us by, and we don't take the moments to sit and be thankful and grateful for where we are and what God's doing in our lives, and just for those moments that we have with Him. And so this year I kind of feel inspired to share a moment with Miranda, kind of a minute of my life to get a glimpse and just share a little bit of a quick word of inspiration or encouragement or challenge to anybody who will listen. It's for whosoever will. And so I think that I'm going to do my best to be consistent every week in either putting out a video or doing Facebook Live and just sharing a little word that will hopefully reach your heart and will give you some encouragement as to where you are. Today, like I said, I'm in Georgia. I'm in Douglasville, Georgia, in my room, just taking a moment. I was trying to just be chill because this is how I am. This is what I do. I sit and I read the Word. Sometimes I sit on my bed. Sometimes I sit on the floor. So, here I am, and I would love for you to join me for just a few minutes and just increase your expectation of God in this new year. See what He wants to do. See Him for who He is rather than for what He gives or for what we expect out of a certain circumstance or life. And as I've just been seeking the Lord this year over and over again, the last couple of weeks, He's been speaking to me about Himself. And this week I want to share with you just a quick little word that He showed me. And I want to talk about the immeasurable God. I have my notes here, so if I look down, it's because I'm cheating. I just need to have them sometimes. I'm still learning to take the limitations off myself. But you guys all know that as a new year comes along, so many people start the diets, and I remember the first time I started doing portion control, I was measuring out half a cup of rice. Do you know how small a half a cup of rice is? I'm like, what? This is all the portion that I get? It's nothing, right? And I'm sure like some of us that have decided we're going to lose weight have already fallen off of the train. We've already tossed out the measuring cup. But see, for me, I'm the type of person that's very measured. I like measurements. I like rules. I like to know what I can do and what I can't do. And I think it's because I'm an achiever. I love to perform. You tell me to jump and I'm going to say how high and was that good enough? I'm constantly trying to measure things and trying to measure myself. And makes me feel like when I reach a goal that I've done something special or that I am somebody special. And as much as measuring can make me feel accomplished whenever I don't reach the goal or I don't do it how I thought it should have been or not in the right amount of time, then I can really be discouraged and I can be disgruntled and feel like a failure. I can feel like I haven't been enough. And don't even get me started about when somebody changes the goal, maybe midstream, and says, hey, this is what we're doing, and then they decide to change it. That just freaks me out because, like I said, I'm very measured and calculated. This is what you said, this is what we're going to do, and you're not going to change it. And all that measuring can really just wear you out and leave you lacking and feeling sometimes like a failure and frustrated. You know, a ruler isn't flexible at all. It's kind of like the first time I decided I was going to try to do yoga. That did not go so well. I was like, people actually enjoy doing yoga. This is supposed to be fun. I was sore and I was sweaty by the time I was done. It didn't feel too fun. It was not flexible at all. You know, a ruler is not flexible. Rules aren't flexible. They don't allow for spontaneity. They don't allow for the free flow of life. And religion can be a lot like a ruler. It can be stiff and it can be unyielding. And for someone like me who's a performer, that is like right up my alley. It's my comfort zone. You know, I know how to do religion well. But see, God hasn't called me to religion. I know that we hear this all the time. Believe me, that it's not about a religion, it's a relationship. And we can roll our eyes, and so many people, we've heard that. We know. But the fact is that I've had to come face to face with a reality in my life over the last couple of weeks that I haven't really wanted a relationship with God. I've wanted rules. I'm not comfortable in a relationship. I'm not comfortable with the liberty that that relationship can bring. I like the measure. Just tell me what it is that I have to do. And religion gives me that. But relationship says, hey, just follow me and we'll go somewhere. It'll be fun. It'll be spontaneous. I know exactly where we're going, but you just have to follow me and trust me. And I'm like, just follow? Are you sure? Like, where are we going? How long is it going to take to get there? What are we going to do? If I don't know what time it's going to be, how can I schedule my snack so I can make sure I eat, my blood sugar doesn't go too low? You know, all of those things, just that following. And it, instead of a relationship with a living God, it's like I've been content to try to make him this like fat little idol that I stick in the corner and I pull out and I rub his belly whenever I have a wish and want to get what I want out of him. And in the book of Isaiah 40, and it's verse 18, it says, who are you going to compare God to? And what likeness will you compare him with? In other words, how can you measure the immeasurable God? See, you want to make them so small. You want to make them so that you feel comfortable with who he is. You want to fit him in your little box and say, God, it's okay for you to move like this or to do this, or I'm ready to pull you out from the corner right now because it fits in a good time in my life. And that's really no different. That measuring of God is really no different than making an idol. And all along, God's been saying to me, Miranda, I'm bigger. You can't put a limitation on me except for what you limit yourself in your own brain. He's like, you can't measure the heavens that I created. He said, the rulers of the earth, they're like dust. I could just blow them and they would be gone. Totally gone. He's saying, I'm so much bigger than your estimation of me is. Forget about the measuring cups. Toss them out. Get rid of the fat belly idol. Toss them out. And in verse 27, he says to Israel, he says, oh, Israel, he says, you think that I don't know where you are? You think that I don't hear you? You think that your way is hid from me, that I have no idea of what's going on in your life? And don't you and I do the same thing? You know, we get this idea of, God, this is how you have to move, and this is how it has to be, and this is how I'm okay with you working right here and right now. And he's trying to tell us, take the limitation off. Take the measure off. God doesn't want to be fit into a mold that makes me comfortable. He wants more than that. He wants a living relationship. He wants me to take the demands off of how he's going to work and what he wants to do. In the Gospels, you know, when Jesus healed people, he didn't always heal people the same way. And there was times whenever he touched them. There was times whenever he just spoke the word. There was times when he was there. There was times whenever he wasn't there. And then we know that there were times whenever people had to pull on his power, when they came to him in desperation, and he moved on their behalf. And what that shows me is that God can't be contained by my measure of him, that the relationship that he wants with me is living and it's personal. It's organic, as we would say these days. You know, it's something that's always growing and always on the move. And Isaiah says, "Oh, Israel, if you just knew, if you knew that God sees you, if you knew that he knows where you are, that the everlasting God, the creator of heaven and earth, the ruler of the world, the giver of life, he doesn't get tired, he doesn't get worn out, he doesn't get frustrated, he's not like you. If you knew that he knew where you are, you would have so much more joy and so much more peace and rest in your life." And guys, I believe that God is saying the same thing to you and I. I can hear him say to me, "Miranda, why don't you take the measurement off of me? Why don't you get rid of the measuring cup? Why don't you get rid of the ruler? Why don't you get rid of the mold that you've been trying to put me into? And why don't you realize that I see you and that I am working?" And more than that, he doesn't just say that, but he invites me to work with him. That is a living relationship. That is organic. That is something that's always growing. That not only is God working, but he invites me to work with him. And instead of performing to measure up and saying, "God, just show me the rules so that I can make sure that you're pleased with me, or I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do," he says, "Miranda, why don't you just follow me? And as you wait on me, I'm going to give you strength. And as you wait on me, I'm going to give you power to run and not grow weary, to walk and not grow faint." And in John chapter 3, we read where John says that God has given Jesus the Spirit without measure. And without measure means boundless and limitless. And then John says that of Jesus's fullness, you and I have received. So if Jesus is filled with the immeasurable, boundless, limitless Spirit, and I am filled with all the fullness of who he is, then that means that I'm filled with the limitless, boundless, immeasurable Spirit of God. And the only limitations that God has is the ones that I put on him in my life day by day, the ones that I put on him because they make me feel comfortable, because it makes me happy. And I'm so challenged this year in my life personally just to take the measurements off God. You know, this itself is one of those steps to get out of my comfort zone, to get out of what makes me feel secure, and just say, "God, wherever you want to take me, I want to go. I'm throwing out the ruler. I'm tossing out the cup. And I just want to look at God, the God who I'm expecting to move in my life this year, and say, "God, I know you're bigger, and I want to take the measurement off of you." I want to thank you for joining me for this moment with Miranda. I do hope to do this every week. My plan is every Friday night, probably around 8 o'clock, I'll do a Facebook Live from wherever I am in the world. You know, life moves on, but there's moments where we can step aside and come together and hear from God. And so I hope that you'll join me. I hope that you'll share the video, and I really pray that you'll be blessed by it. Love you guys. See you soon.